From KGW, this is The Good Stuff.
We love the city and we want others to remember how much they love the city.
Tonight on The Good Stuff, a perfect opportunity to admire the beauty of Portland. The second annual Bloom Tour is happening now. Thank you for joining us. I'm Deidre Johnson. Local florists and artists work to decorate downtown with the help of Downtown Portland Clean and Safe. Our Ashley Grahams has more.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Bloom Tour!
Portland's second annual Bloom Tour is here.
So people have a month to check it out.
Starting Mother's Day weekend, over 20 flower installations will adorn the front of local businesses, restaurants, and hotels.
We're expecting tens of thousands of people to check out the tour, walk through the streets of Portland, check out their old favorite stores, and maybe find some new favorites as well.
Take a look at these bright yellow and pink blooms at Event Cosmetics near 10th and Taylor. It's a beauty boutique and spa.
Portland's my home, but being from Barbados, I always carry a tropical energy with me.
That was the inspiration for this installation.
And know that the people behind the exhibits poured their heart into it. And it's because we love the city and we want others to remember how much they love the city.
Catherine Seeley has owned this particular location for 6 years and is forced to deal with all the struggles downtown Portland is facing. Just over a month ago, Portland police started patrolling this area more frequently after calling it a fentanyl hotspot. A few weeks later, city crews installed new lights around the Central Library to combat the drug use.
Unless we take personal ownership and care about our own community, it's not going to change. It's a day in and day out battle, and that's exactly why having a program like the Bloom Tour is so essential to our survival.
For Seeley, this Bloom Tour is about much more than just flowers. It's a chance to revitalize the city she loves and support small businesses.
We care because it's our life's blood and our life's work.
You can find these flower installations in downtown, Old Town, and the Central East Side until June 11th. There's a map of all the locations at kgw.com.
Those flowers look so pretty. So if you weren't able to make it for Mother's Day weekend, you can check out the beautiful flowers in all the local businesses through June 11th. Well, speaking of beautiful sights over the weekend, Friday and Saturday night we were treated to a fantastic show. Many of you were able to catch a glimpse of the northern lights in the night sky. Scientists say the storm was triggered by solar flares. The sky show was seen all over the country and as far south as Florida. And of course, you, our viewers, flooded our inbox with dazzling shots of the northern lights across Oregon and Washington. You could see shades of green, purple, pink, and even blue. So check out this pic from Gabby, who was at Mary's Peak in Corvallis. Such a gorgeous shot of the green and pink. Jim sent in this awesome picture. It looks like he was standing right under the lights. Amazing. Miriam sent this photo from Beaverton. Another great shot of the beautiful sky. And Sheila submitted this picture of a bull up against a backdrop of the northern lights from Arlington, Oregon. I'm sure he appreciated the amazing sights. And Takesha sent this photo of a group admiring the lights at the Delphian School in Sheridan. Very cool. And check out this great shot from Michael. It's a picture of a church with some bright pink splattered across the sky behind it. That looks so amazing. And then this picture, look at this perfect photo from Lori. I'm sure we all share her thoughts on the northern lights. And finally, the Astoria column was lit up with so many amazing colors to celebrate the northern lights. Thank you, Paula, for sharing this pretty picture. And you can share your photos and stories of the good stuff happening in your community by texting 503-226-5088 or email us at thegoodstuff@kgw.com. So even without the northern lights, there are plenty of great views throughout Oregon and Washington. Today, Grant McComey takes us to another spot to experience and learn about the great outdoors.
We're going to line up right out there on the far side of that building.
Field trips are the best days in school.
This is your last chance to get a poncho, so if you want one, please grab one.
Rain or shine, a day in the field
Everybody ready?
can teach youngsters much about the outdoors.
So what do you see behind you? A river. Who said river? Correct. Does anybody know what river this is? It's the Wilson River.
Jesse Kane is a biologist and teacher at the newly reopened Tillamook Forest Center.
Is a river a type of habitat? Yeah, it's an aquatic habitat, right? Because a habitat is somewhere where animals live, get their food, and make their homes.
He wants these youngsters from Banks Elementary School to understand the life in a river.
Let's go ahead and hold that up for me. Who knows what this creature is? Shout it out. A fish. More importantly, a salmon. Exactly. And salmon live all up and down this river. A lot of people, when they think aquatic health or salmon, don't think forests, but forests are actually a really important factor in salmon and watershed health. What we do on the land dramatically affects the water.
And good morning, class.
The Banks students were well prepared for their field trip because they raised fish in their classroom last winter.
When I bring them around, you will see little spots in those. Do you have any idea what the little black spots might be that are going to be in those?
Ice.
Perfect. You got that exactly right.
The project is called Eggs to Fry, and Mr. Leroy Schultz delivered 500 trout eggs, courtesy of the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, to the second graders in Mrs. McComie's classroom.
Can you see them? All right.
Whoa. Be careful.
On release day, the students traveled to Scoggins Creek to let the baby fish go free.
They're so cute.
We're going to open the bag. You can open yours too. Oh my gosh, this is such a big event. Oh, there they go.
Bye, little fishies.
You see the bird holes and all those woodpecker markings?
Back on the field trip, Jesse Kane says the kids, the fish, and the forest merge into lasting memories and lessons about the Oregon outdoors.
I really want the kids to know what a habitat is. And it's in second grade, you might not have ever heard the word habitat. So if I can impart that it's a place where animals live, a place where they eat and find safety and shelter, I did my job.
At the Tillamook Forest Center with photographer Jeff Kastner, Grant McComie, KGW.
Love seeing the kids having fun with Mother Nature. Well, don't forget to watch the half-hour show of Grant's Getaways. It airs Saturday and Sunday here on KGW. You can also get the information about any of Grant's Getaways on our website at kgw.com. Coming up, construction wraps up on a brand new clinic at a local reservation. Why it's so important to those in the community after the break. But first, we take you out to the coast. Here's a live look from our Chinook Winds Casino Skycam out in Lincoln City. Looks like an absolutely stunning day to be at the beach. We'll be right back. crews are putting the finishing touches on a new health and wellness clinic. It's on the Grand Ronde Reservation. The clinic also includes several cultural elements in the design. Kale Williams has a story.
Every time that they walk in through those doors, there is a sense of being here that belongs to every one of us.
Kelly Rowe is the Executive Director of Health Services for the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde, and she's standing in the brand new health and wellness clinic on the reservation, about an hour and a half southwest of Portland. The tribe invited KGW to look at some of the new technology that makes the health center unique. Ryan Webb is the engineering and planning manager for the Grand Ronde Tribes.
This building was designed and constructed to really help solve some issues that we experienced during the pandemic.
They already had one clinic, and for years, it served the community well. But during the pandemic, it became difficult to provide health services and COVID testing while keeping everyone safe. The new health center has energy-efficient lighting, solar panels, and lots of windows to let in natural light. But perhaps the most important new feature is the heating and ventilation system. It's divided up into zones that can help in quarantine situations.
During a potential pandemic and airborne disease situation, we can actually shut it down and bring 100% outside air into the building.
The Grand Ronde Tribes partnered with Energy Trust of Oregon to help choose and fund the environmental upgrades.
The tribe is very committed to really being the stewards of the land like they always have been.
Cheryl Kennedy, chairwoman of the tribes, has been working on public health at Grand Ronde since the early 1980s. But the driving force behind things like the new health center took shape well before then. In the 1850s, the tribes were forced off their ancestral lands in exchange for federal recognition. And it stayed that way for nearly 100 years. But in 1954, the federal government revoked that recognition through a process called termination.
That was very difficult for most of the families because the land was taken. Termination meant they came in, they stripped you of all the land that you had, any service that was provided to you, and they said, okay, you're free, go.
For decades, that meant getting resources was difficult, especially when it came to medical needs.
The clinic that serviced Grand Ronde at that time was located in Salem. So services were non-existent here, and so if people wanted health care, they had to figure out how to travel to get there.
Kennedy joined tribal leadership right around the time they regained federal recognition in 1983.
My job was to develop all the health and human services for the tribe.
But those in-between decades, when the tribes weren't recognized, taught her that if they needed something, they would likely have to do it themselves.
So this is so important, laying the foundation for this where our members can come and we no longer have to be in fear that we're the orphan child, that we're not going to receive the services that other Americans and Oregonians receive.
There are nods to tribal culture throughout the clinic.
When you come into the community room, you're going to see the big round window. It represents a couple things. One is the medicine wheel, so it's a representation of the medicine wheel. It also mimics our plank house. It's the round doorway into the plank house.
The wood siding, salvaged from tribal lands that burned in the 2020 wildfires, holds significance.
We try to use everything we could from the tribe, source within, use things that were important to us as a tribe.
And there's a demonstration kitchen with upgraded audio and visual tech, so tribal members can prepare traditional foods while live streaming to folks all over the world.
And it's not just a focus on Western medicine, but really how nutritional health or cultural practice can help heal people as well.
And just outside, there's a fish pit for traditional preparation of salmon.
We have the salmon stamped outside. That's to show it's not just our first food, but it's our relationship to the water. It's our relationship to the fish. It's how important it is for us to be honoring that. Every time we walk out on that patio, we're going to see that, and it's like, yes, we have that. That's part of us.
Kale Williams, KGW News.
At 100 years old, a local dancer is still on the move. Her passion for traditional Japanese dance took her all over the world. The inspiring story after the break. But first, a look at Mount Hood from our Timberline Lodge Skycam is looking very picturesque against the blue sky. We have more good stuff when we return. Welcome back. Asian American Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month is the inspiration behind our Breaking Barriers stories. Today we highlight a local dancer whose talents have taken her around the world. China Green has more.
Japanese American master teacher and performer of Nihonbuyo, a traditional Japanese dance, lives right here in Portland. And this year, she turned
100.
The legacy she created started under a different name. Doris Abe was born in Mountain View, California in 1924. Both of her parents immigrated to the United States from Fukushima, Japan. At age 7, she began learning traditional Japanese dance.
I didn't know anything about it. The movements were really old style.
To further her knowledge of the art, she moved to Japan at 11 to study at the Tachibana School of Dance, earning her professional name, Sahomi.
It wasn't the usual dance. It was the difficult.
A few years later, Doris returned to the U.S. as the dancer Sahomi Tachibana. She was on board the very last ship to leave port before the attack on Pearl Harbor. She was incarcerated with her family at Tule Lake and Topaz camps, some of the internment camps that held Japanese Americans forcibly removed from the West Coast. To make the best of it, the teenager began performing and teaching children on site.
It was very popular in camp because they had nothing else to do.
After the war, Sahomi made her way to New York City to study modern dance, but traditional Japanese dance was her true calling. Her career exploded over 9 decades, performing on Broadway, Radio City Music Hall, opening her own dance company, and teaching thousands of students.
I guess the people liked it.
Sahomi and her husband eventually left New York and moved to Portland to be closer to family. She continued to perform and teach until the age of 95. And when it comes to dancing,
I'm still dancing.
It just may look a little different now.
Love her story. Well, that's just one of the many inspiring stories from our Breaking Barriers series. There's a full playlist of those stories on our KGW YouTube page. Coming up, the first Spring Sips event is here. Discover all the fun and the best wines during the week-long celebration. First, though, we take a quick trip to the Dalles with our Skycam. Check out the sun as it starts its journey down below the horizon. Get ready for some cuteness. Take a look at these pictures from Sherwood Police. They show a daring rescue that happened in a Walmart parking lot last week. Police were called to help relocate a mama duck and her 8 little ducklings out of the crowded parking lot. Officers were able to wrangle the ducks and get them safely to a nearby pond. Well, it's Oregon Wine Month, and there are many amazing wines and food to try. And this week, the first Spring Sips event is underway. It's a celebration of wine and food in the Tualatin Valley. Many wineries are holding events. More than 15 restaurants are offering flights where people can try 3 local wines for $20. Restaurants say the event is a huge deal for the area.
I think the beauty of what they're doing is they're bringing attention to a wine region that's literally right next door to Portland. And our restaurant, being in Beaverton, has such a close affinity. I mean, it took us 20 minutes to get here. So it's so close and no one realizes that. So by doing this Spring Sips, you bring in the winery to the city or to the awareness of people from the city or on a national scale. And it's just great. And for us, it brings new people to the restaurant to try out new wines.
The event ends with the Pink Rosé Festival happening Sunday at the Hillsborough Ballpark. And tickets are still available. You can buy them online at spring-sips.com. Well, that's all the time we have. Thanks for taking a little time for the good stuff. We leave you with a few more of your Northern Lights pictures. We wish you a wonderful evening, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.